I'm sitting here with my new friend, Tori, and I want to introduce her to you so that you can get to know her as part of the community of the Door. So what I'm going to do is ask her just to give herself a brief introduction.
Asking for introductions is always the hardest thing because I have to take all of my life and give it to you guys in 30 seconds. So here's my best go. I was born and raised in New Mexico. I love being outside, the mountains, and a lot of that is people in New Mexico are closer to God. I don't know. You can Google or fact check me on that. But we moved, my husband and I, Tyler, moved here from New Mexico to Texas 4 years ago. We love Mars and the moon and all things outer space. And we also really love serving in the church. And so I am just really excited to be here with Reagan and with all of you guys here today and having this conversation about community.
So one of the things that Tori and I are going to explore is how we build an online community. So we're going to talk about how can people who are watching virtually get together in community without being physically present in a church.
I am getting all of the hard questions today, man. And I think not only being in 2020 and having all of the different online tools that we have, but also just since March and having to go online, I think this is the question that everybody has been asking. And I don't know that I have the silver bullet answer, but I think a lot of it comes from just being willing to actually put ourselves out there. And whether that's commenting on a YouTube video and starting up that conversation, or finding a group space online, or maybe you have a group of friends that you can Zoom with. But so often I think when we're online, we're just consuming and we're just eating and consuming, which is such an individual act. There's got to be that risk of saying, I'm ready to be in community and give a little bit. I think that's what we see modeled in real, in-person, real-life community.
So how has community been important to you in your life?
Oh, it's everything. I'm a super relational person, and so being alone or isolated is when my mind starts going, and the anxiety and the spiral thoughts, and moments and acts of community is where I feel like that spiral really gets broken, and I have that chance to feel grounded and grow with people, whether that was from when I was an undergraduate and finding groups of like-minded people, both in faith communities and interest group communities, like being involved on campus. But just that moment where you find people that you can just breathe and say, oh, I found my people. And the best place that I've ever found like my people has been in communities that have been surrounding faith and asking questions of what is really important. And so church community has been huge for me in terms of growing and moving out of kind of a teenage space into an adult space.
So I've had a similar experience. I mean, I can't imagine being where I am today without community, but some people just can't be in community right now. So what are some of the ways that we can help them be in community?
Yeah. I mean, I think a great first step is if you're watching this today, I would love to know that you're watching this today. And so even just commenting below this video, saying hi. I know I'll hang out in the comments this week. I know you're really accessible online as well. But we've just got to take that step and reach out and say, hey, I'm here. Because we know that you're here and we are here together, but I think we really are all together, and just taking that first step. Or even, finding a faith space online, whether it's a church or a group of friends where you can talk together and meet. I think it's just reaching out.
I look at the life of the Apostle Paul, and I only gave a little intro to that today. But what he would do is he would come into a new town and he would begin to form community. And sometimes he would stay there for 3 years engaging with people's lives. Sometimes it was a much shorter period, but it was usually at least a good 6 months. And so I think that the New Testament shows us how important community is, not only for Paul to engage with them, who are others, but also now when he's in prison writing these letters, that he's got community that reaches back out to him. Has there been a time when you have brought someone into community and then they've kind of turned around and served you when you were at a difficult place?
Yes. Yeah. Thinking about times that I've been in community or brought someone into community. Really recently, I had the chance to mentor a group of high school girls and just kind of walk through life with them, whether it was questions about school or their teachers or their parents or who God is and what that means to them. And it was very much a situation where I was there serving them, learning about their lives. And then as I was going through graduate school, I had a really hard semester where I was having a hard time getting assignments turned in, and life had just gotten really, really crazy. And I had decided to be vulnerable with these high school girls and actually share with them what was going on. And it was incredible the way that they responded and even followed up with me during the week and just said, hey, Tori, we're praying for you. How's your paper going? And I remember just being so taken aback that these students showed such a maturity and an understanding that community is reciprocal. It's not one directional. And that even in the places where we feel like it might be, that God is working to bring those people into a role where they're speaking into you. And I'll just carry that with me for such a long time. It was a huge sense of encouragement, and I felt like we got closer as a result of that.
That's great. That reminds me of a time when I was in my early training, and I had this chaplaincy program that I was doing. I was working at a hospital, and I was visiting people in their rooms and then praying for them. But it was the first time I was doing it. It felt awkward and everything. And sometimes it just culturally, it seemed a bit odd because I was an American and they weren't. And I found this one man who, whenever I would pray for him, would turn around and then pray for me. Even though he was dying, he had the strength to pray for me. And it just lifted me up so much and made my job easier, even though I was supposed to be there serving him. And that's one of the benefits of community. It's that mutual support of each other. And knowing that we're in this together, that we're not alone, we're not the only one experiencing something that's difficult.